Respected listener, there comes a moment in every life when the world goes silent, when the noise fades, when the doubts loosen their grip, just long enough for you to ask yourself a question most people avoid their entire lives. What is the purpose behind the way I wake up, the way I move, the way I show up in this world? And if you've never asked yourself that question today, in this very moment, is the day everything begins to change. Because purpose of purpose is the spark. And if you learn to start your day with purpose, you can set your entire life on fire. There's a story I once heard about a man who grew up with every odds stacked against him. No money, no guidance, no safety net, just a dream too wild to fit inside the neighborhood he came from. He used to wake up before the sun, not because he wanted to, but because life forced him to. He'd walk through cold mornings with empty pockets, but a heart that beat like it knew something the world didn't. Every step he took whispered the same sentence over and over: start with purpose. Don't let the world tell you who you are. You tell the world who you're going to become. That man struggled. He lost. He failed. But every morning he woke up with a choice. Either let the world defeat him or stand up and declare, my purpose is bigger than my problems. And that was the beginning of everything. Because purpose doesn't show up with comfort. Purpose shows up with discomfort, confusion, fear, and long nights where you pray for a breakthrough that never seems to come. But he kept walking, and every morning he reminded himself that the sunrise is not promised, which means every sunrise is a gift. And if God gives you a gift, you better not waste it. You see, starting your day with purpose isn't about waking up early just to say you did. It's about waking up with a reason to fight, a reason to grow, a reason to be better than the version of yourself that went to bed the night before. So many people wake up every day like their life is a repeat episode. Same routine, same thoughts, same excuses. But the people who change their lives, they wake up with intention. They wake up and remind themselves of who they want to be, not who life has told them they are. There was a young man who once said he felt like every day was a copy of the last. He felt stuck, trapped, surrounded by people who had given up on themselves and wanted him to do the same. So he changed one thing, just one thing. He decided every morning he would speak his purpose out loud. I will rise, I will grow, I will change my life. And those 3 sentences, repeated every morning, slowly became his truth. Not because the words were magic, but because the purpose behind those words reshaped his entire identity. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is declare something before you believe it. Speak it before you see it. Claim it before you touch it. That's how purpose works. Purpose gives direction to chaos. Purpose takes an ordinary day and turns it into an opportunity. Purpose is the difference between I have to wake up and I get to wake up. And when you reach that shift, when you truly understand it, your life starts moving with a force you didn't even know you had. You begin to see possibilities where fear once lived. You begin to act on dreams you once buried. And you begin to create a life that feels like it's finally your own. And let me tell you something real. When you wake up with purpose, people will notice. Not everyone will clap for you. Some will doubt you. Some will distance themselves because your growth reminds them of their stagnation. But that's all right. Purpose isn't supposed to attract everyone. Purpose attracts the right people. The people who understand the fire you're building within yourself. So if you're listening to this right now, I want you to take a deep breath and understand something. Your life doesn't change when the clock strikes midnight. It changes when you open your eyes in the morning and decide to live with intention. Decide to show up. Decide to fight for your dream. Decide to honor the gifts and talents, the calling placed inside you. Because the truth is, you are not here by accident. You are not breathing by coincidence. There is a reason you survived what others didn't. There is a purpose assigned to your name, and the world needs what you're carrying. Maybe no one has ever told you this, but let me be the one to say it. You matter. Your purpose matters. Your story matters. And if you learn to start your day with that truth, the fire inside you will be impossible to extinguish. You will walk differently, think differently, speak differently. You will become the architect of your own life. And it all begins with how you start your day. There comes a moment in every journey when the world tests the strength of your purpose. Not with comfort, not with applause, but with pressure, with silence, with seasons where nothing seems to move, no matter how hard you push. And it's in those seasons that your mornings matter the most. Because when life gets heavy, the way you start your day can either lift you or break you. I once heard a story about an elderly woman who lived in a tiny apartment on the edge of a noisy city. She didn't have much. No fancy job, no big savings, no long list of achievements people usually brag about. But every morning at the exact same time, she'd open her window, breathe in the cool air, and whisper, "Thank you for another chance." That was her ritual, her way of starting with purpose. She didn't wake up searching for perfection. She woke up searching for meaning. And that, believe it or not, is what gave her strength to face every challenge life threw her way. Most people underestimate the power of a morning ritual. They think it's just something productive people talk about. But the truth is, a morning routine is a compass. It points your mind, your heart, your spirit in the direction you want your life to go. If you wake up and immediately reach for your weaknesses, your distractions, your regrets, your doubts, your whole day bends toward them. But if you reach for your purpose, your entire day aligns with something greater than your fears. There's a young woman I once mentored. She was lost in life, confused, overwhelmed, constantly comparing herself to people on screens who seemed to have everything she never did. One day she told me, "I don't even know who I'm supposed to be anymore." And I said, "Stop trying to be someone. Start trying to become someone." Becoming is purpose. Becoming is power. Becoming is the slow, steady decision to rise above the version of yourself that no longer serves your future. So I asked her to do one thing every morning. Sit with her own thoughts before sitting with the world. No phone, no noise, just her breath and the question, what do I want my life to stand for? And in the beginning, she hated it. It felt uncomfortable, like facing a stranger she didn't know how to talk to. But day after day, she stayed with it, and something incredible began to happen. Her clarity returned. Her confidence rose. Her fear shrank. Because when you start your morning anchored in purpose, the storms of the world don't shake you the same way. People think success arrives in big moments, awards, breakthroughs, public victories. But real success, the kind that lasts, is built in small moments. Early mornings, quiet reflections, intentional choices. It's built in those minutes when no one is watching and you decide to honor your purpose anyway. The strongest people you've ever seen didn't wake up confident. They built confidence by choosing purpose over excuses again and again until their purpose became their identity. But understand this, when you start living with purpose, life will not become easier. It will become clearer. And clarity is far more valuable than comfort. Clarity gives you direction. Comfort keeps you stuck. Purpose pushes you forward even when your legs are shaking. And every time you push, every time you rise, every time you start your morning with intention, you strengthen the fire burning inside you. And that fire, once it begins, is hard to put out. So if you're listening to this, I want you to hold this truth close. You don't need a perfect plan to start your day right. You just need a purpose. And that purpose doesn't have to be loud, impressive, or dramatic. It just has to be yours. Something that lights you from within. Something that reminds you who you are and who you're becoming. Because the moment you learn to start your day on purpose is the moment you start building a life on purpose. There comes a time in your journey when purpose stops being a feeling and becomes a responsibility. Not a burden, not a weight, but a responsibility to yourself, to your future, to the people who believe in you, and even to those who doubted you. Because once you taste the power of living with purpose, going back to the old version of yourself becomes impossible. It's like trying to fit into a life that's already outgrown you. I remember hearing about a man who spent years chasing approval. Every morning he woke up trying to impress people who never clapped, trying to meet standards that were never meant for him. He exhausted himself in the process, living his life like an audition, waiting for someone else to stamp him with worth. But one day, sitting alone after yet another disappointment, he realized something that shook him to his core. I've been waking up for everyone except myself. And that realization changed him. From that day on, he stopped waking up to be liked. He started waking up to be aligned. He stopped trying to fit in. He started trying to rise. Because purpose will do that to you. It will shift your focus from pleasing people to fulfilling your calling. It will teach you that your worth isn't measured by applause, but by authenticity. And when you start your day with that truth, your entire existence transforms. Purpose is not meant to be comfortable. It is meant to be clarifying. It shows you which battles are worth fighting and which ones you need to walk away from. It shows you who belongs in your life and who was only there to distract you. And most importantly, it reveals who you truly are beneath the noise, the expectations, and the fear. You discover a version of yourself you didn't think you had, the brave one, the focused one, the disciplined one, the one capable of building a life that once felt out of reach. But let me tell you something many people won't admit: living with purpose can be lonely. Not because you push people away, but because not everyone is willing to walk the path you're choosing. Some will fall back. Some will drift away. Some will misunderstand your growth as arrogance or distance. But you must remember, your purpose is not up for negotiation. It wasn't given to them. It was given to you. There will be mornings when you wake up tired. Mornings when doubt tries to creep back in. Mornings when your old habits try to pull you into the comfort that once held you captive. And those are the mornings that define you, because purpose is not proven on the days you feel strong. Purpose is proven on the days you feel weak, but show up anyway. Those are the mornings that build character. Those are the mornings that build resilience. Those are the mornings that build champions. You may not realize it, but every morning you choose purpose, you rewrite your story. You break a pattern that's been holding you back. You silence a voice that once controlled you. You choose growth over stagnation, clarity over confusion, faith over fear. And these choices, repeated day after day, transform your life in ways you won't see immediately, but you will feel deeply. One day, you'll look back at the moments that once broke you, and you'll thank them. Not because they were easy, but because they shaped the version of you who had the courage to wake up different. Wake up intentional. Wake up with a fire that refuses to die. Your purpose is a light, and when you protect it, when you nurture it, when you start your day with it, you begin to light a path not just for yourself, but for others. People will see your strength. They will feel your energy. They will learn from your resilience. And without even realizing it, your purpose becomes bigger than you. It becomes a force that inspires, a flame that spreads, a message that echoes long after your day ends. And that is how you set your day on fire. There is a moment in every person's life when purpose stops being something you chase and becomes something you live. Not because everything is perfect, not because every dream has come true, but because you finally understand that purpose is not a destination. It's a way of showing up, a way of walking through the world with intention, courage, and dignity. And when you start your day with that kind of purpose, your entire life becomes a testimony. I once heard of a man who lived his whole life waiting for the right timing, waiting for confidence, waiting for motivation, waiting for a sign that never came. And as the years passed, he watched his fire dim, his dreams shrink, and his potential turn into regret. But one morning, after a night filled with the kind of truth you can't sleep away, he looked at himself in the mirror and whispered, "No more waiting. My purpose begins today." And with that one decision, he built a life far greater than the one he had been postponing for decades. Purpose is powerful, but it requires participation. You don't wake up with purpose by accident. You wake up with purpose by choice. Every day. Even when the world feels heavy. Even when the future is uncertain. Even when the people around you don't see the vision you're fighting for. Purpose needs commitment. Purpose needs courage. Purpose needs you to show up even when your hands are shaking and your voice is trembling. And here's the truth you must never forget. When you start your day with purpose, you stop living on autopilot. You stop letting circumstances dictate your energy. You stop allowing other people's opinions to shape your identity. You reclaim your power, piece by piece, morning by morning, and you begin to lead your life instead of simply surviving it. Picture yourself waking up tomorrow. But this time, before you touch your phone, before the world claims your attention, before the responsibilities begin, you take one moment to breathe, to think, to align, to choose the kind of human being you want to be today, to ask yourself, what is my purpose for this day? Not for the year, not for the decade, just today. And in that single moment of clarity, the fire begins. A purpose-driven morning becomes a purpose-driven day. A purpose-driven day becomes a purpose-driven life. And a purpose-driven life becomes a legacy. People often talk about legacy as if it's reserved for the wealthy, the famous, the extraordinary. But legacy is built by ordinary people with extraordinary purpose. By the mother who wakes up to give her children a better life. By the student who rises early to chase a dream no one else believes in. By the worker who shows up day after day with integrity. by the person who refuses to quit even when quitting would be easier. You create legacy every time you choose purpose over excuses, every time you take one more step, every time you rise after falling, every time you honor the calling placed inside you. And maybe you don't see the results yet. Maybe you don't feel the progress. Maybe you're still fighting battles in silence. But trust this deeply. Purpose is planting seeds in your life right now that you will harvest later. The work you do in the dark will one day shine so bright that the world will ask where your fire came from. And you'll know the answer. It started with a morning, a choice, a purpose. So if today feels heavy, if you're tired, if you're unsure, if life has been rough on you, remember this: your purpose is still here. Your fire is still here. Your chance to start again is still here. And all you need is one morning, one moment, one breath, one decision that says, this is my day, and I'm starting it with purpose. Because when you do that, when you rise with that level of intention, nothing in this world can stop the force you become. There's a truth I want you to carry long after this video ends, long after the words fade and the noise of life returns. Every day you wake up is a gift, a moment of grace, a reset, a chance to start again, to rise again, to build again. And what you choose to do with that gift determines the direction of your life. Not luck, not circumstance, not the approval of others, your choices, your purpose, your fire. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You create it. You don't need someone else to validate your path. You walk it. You don't need to compare your journey to anyone else's. You honor your own. Because the purpose placed inside you is not a mistake. It's not random. It's not small. It is a calling designed specifically for you, shaped by your struggles, strengthened by your pain, and awakened every morning you choose to rise. Maybe no one taught you how to believe in yourself. Maybe life has tried to dim your light. Maybe you've carried doubts, disappointments, and fears that made you forget who you are. But hear me clearly, your story is not over. Your purpose is not finished. Your fire is not gone. You are still becoming. You are still growing. You are still capable of building a life that reflects the strength inside you. So when you open your eyes tomorrow morning, don't waste that moment. Don't rush into the chaos. Don't surrender your peace before the day even begins. Start with purpose. Speak life into yourself. Align your heart with your intentions and walk into your day like you were designed to be a force of change. Because you are. And as you move forward day after day, morning after morning, let your fire grow. Let your purpose guide you. Let your life become the proof that with intention, with resilience, with faith, and with purpose, you can turn even the smallest beginnings into the greatest transformations.